Pork picnic shoulders. Big Lew barbecue.
Hey, it's Big Lew barbecue, and other things I want to do. And I want to tell you about what I did the other day. I made some fantastic pulled pork from some pork picnic shoulders. Some of the best pulled pork I've ever made or eaten. It was really, really good. However, I got to tell you, I'm a stubborn man, and when I set my mind to something, I can be hard-headed. I can be pig-headed. I didn't want to wrap them. I let them sleep naked in my drum smoker. Over 14 hours. The family was getting hungry. If I had wrapped them at the stall around 2 in the afternoon, I put them on in the morning about 7, and if I'd wrapped them around 2 in the afternoon, we'd have probably been eating around 6 or 7 o'clock. But I didn't. I let them go just through the stall. It was 9 o'clock before I pulled them off. They'd reached a temperature above 180. They were around 183 to 185-ish. I pulled them off. Let them rest for about 30 minutes, and then we ate dinner around 9:30. The family was hungry. I was hungry, but I got to tell you, good things come to those who wait. That was some good pork shoulders. Let me tell you a little bit about pork shoulders. It's the pork picnic shoulders, I should say. The big pork shoulder, the whole thing, is a big cut of meat. Doesn't fit in people's refrigerators, doesn't fit on their grills or smokers too well. So at the grocery store, they cut it in a smaller cut. The butt is the top with the shoulder blade in it. And the picnic shoulder is the part right here that would have like part of what I guess would be called the humerus bone. I don't know, if it was a human, it'd be a humerus bone, but this part right here, it has some skin on it, a big thick layer of fat, a big old bone inside. So when you're paying for it by the pound, you're paying for that too. And if that's all you want is the pulled pork, then you're not getting a good deal. But if you look at it like this, look on the optimistic side of life, you can use that skin for a delicious snack called cracklings. When you get the cracklings, you can get some lard out of it, about a cup of lard out of that 2 skins. And you can use that lard for like biscuits and stuff when you want to. And you can boil those bones. After you smoke them, you can boil those bones, get some delicious pork stock for soups, stews, stuff like that. And I use it in jambalaya a lot. So it renders a great stock. So it's all the way you look at it. Get a little lanyap by buying the picnic shoulder. By the way, lanyap, that's a good Cajun word for little something extra. All right. Anyway, I used... didn't make my own rub for this one, and I didn't make my own marinade for it. I used a Louisiana-made basting sauce, and I actually used it as an injectable marinade. At the end, you're gonna see it all juicy inside there when I pull that pork apart. And I basted it twice during the cook with that stuff. I used a rub that I've recently given away on my show called Bear's Butt Rub. Good stuff. Not very sweet, though. So at the end of it, I glazed it with some cane syrup and some butter. Louisiana-made cane syrup and butter. Oh man, I gotta tell you, that bark was good. Been sleeping naked in the UDS the whole time. UDS, by the way, stands for Ugly Drum Smoker. I built myself an ugly drum smoker. Look, I got a friend though that's got a beautiful drum smoker, and I wanna tell you about it when we come back. Big Lew barbecue.
So I'm going to get these open here in just a minute. Let me show you what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna rub them down with Bear's Butt Rub. And I'm going to inject and be basting them with pig stand basting sauce. All right. I like to make my injections sometimes, but I got a busy day today. This stuff is really good. I've used it before on picnic shoulders, as a matter of fact. I think I got a video with that, doing it on a Weber kettle. We're gonna put these in the Ugly Drum Smoker. Anyway, I'm going to get the injection prepared, get these cut up and opened up, and I'm gonna show you how we remove the skin and get them injected. Be right back. Big Lew barbecue.
All right, well, this is the pork picnic shoulder, and it has the skin on it, but you can remove it by cutting it right there in the back at that lower part, and then with a real sharp knife, just cutting away at it. And a flexible knife works a little better. This knife is sharp and getting after it, but I decided to reach for my fillet knife here in a minute, and it was able to cut it off real well. I like to take these skins and make cracklings out of it. I'll list a link in the description box of how I did that. I'll look at it as just a little bit something extra when you do a picnic shoulder, if you like cracklings, you know. Anyway, you just continue to cut. I cut most of the fat off with the skin, because that's where I wanted the fat to be, with the skin. But I did leave a little bit on it, so to kind of baste it through there. So we're just going to continue to cut, and you just keep on cutting at it. That fillet knife is razor sharp, but that fat layer there can be very, very thick. And so you want to make sure you don't tear into the meat too much, and you want to get the fat not not the meat on the skin. There's a little bit on that skin right there, but that's okay. All right, and that's what it looked like. I cut that up, made cracklings with it. All right. Anyway, to do the two shoulder roasts, I did the other one the same way by removing the skin, and then I started to inject it with the basting sauce. Now, this is a thick, oily basting sauce. It's not really designed to be an injectable marinade, but it tastes so good. It tastes good as a marinade, but I'll tell you why it's not. It's got that reddish orange color to it. Now, when you pull it open, you're going to see it kind of looks candy apple red, but on camera, it makes the meat look like it's not done. I've watched this video several times and asked a few other people to watch it. At the end, when I cut it open, they say, oh, it does kind of look like blood at the end. But you can see that the meat's gray and the meat is cooked all the way through. I guarantee you, being in 14 hours, this meat was done. All right, it was done. Anyway, it made the meat taste wonderful, but it kept it juicy, and I do think the marinade staying inside the meat like that for so long is one of the reasons it took so long to get out of the stall, because that moisture was just not, at that temperature, was just not wicking out very fast of the meat. And I think that's one reason it took such a long cook. If I ever use this as an injectable marinade again, I'll either thin it out with some vinegar or just not use quite as much. But man, I loaded these things up with the stuff, and that meat was juicy, even though it didn't come all the way out to 190 degrees. I pulled it around to 183 to 185 or so off the smoker. The meat was very, very tender, delicious, absolutely wonderful. Right here, I'm putting on the Bear's butt rub. I gave some of that away recently. It's a real good savory rub, but it's not real sweet. So I'll sweeten this up with a glaze at the end of the video, a cane syrup-based glaze that I make. And I'm going to go ahead and rub down the other one, and we're going to go ahead and let these things sit in the drum as drum chums.
Okay, so the smoker's up to temp. And we're just gonna lay these picnic shoulders right here in this smoker, just like that. And get the lid on it. Let them go all day long. Okay, the meat's been on about 4 or 5 hours. Probably 4. And you can see that it's starting to pull, the bone's starting to pull away a little bit. Starting to look good. There's still a lot of juice in it. But I'm going to go ahead and, you see the bone in that one? I'm going to go ahead and baste both sides. Now this is that same pig stand basting sauce. And I've warmed it up. I've had it in the refrigerator since opening the jar this morning. So it's cold. So I had to pour some off into this jelly jar here. And stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds before I put it on here. It's oil based, so it doesn't take long to heat up in the microwave. And I'm just going to baste it with this basting sauce again. This is really good stuff. Oh, look at that. Dead nabbit. If you see a blue mark on my hand, that's because I had to attend a marching band competition this morning, and they stamped my hand. All right, so I grabbed this little hook right here. Lift it up and get the other underside of each of these roasts. Picnic roast, picnic shoulders, whatever you want to call them. Get back here. Come here. Stand up. They'll kind of stand up on the flat side. And we're just going to let them go again. I don't know how much longer they're going to need. I haven't checked them with the thermometer yet, but I can look at them and tell that they're going to need several hours more. Okay, the pulled pork out there it's gotten dark. I've got a lantern light going. It's been on for a little over 12 hours. I put it on just after 7 a.m. and it's now just after 7 p.m. and it's come out of the stall. The roaster around 173, one of them. The other one's about 175, trying to get them to about 190. So what I'm going to do now is put a glaze. So I put some butter in a little jar, and I've got some cane syrup. And because the rub and the basting sauce that I've been basting it with every few hours, I basted about 3 times during this 12-hour cook. So I guess about every 4 hours. All right, and I'm going to baste it with some syrup. So I'm going to put I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons of syrup in here. And I'm gonna heat it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. It doesn't take long to heat cane syrup up. All right, and it's gonna give it that brown sugar taste that a lot of rubs have. All right, and so we're gonna get a little bit of sweetness in there so just gonna glaze them kind of like a ham. I'll meet you out at the smoker.
All right, so when they got to about 170 or so and temperature was climbing, I knew they were out of the stall. So I went ahead and put this cane syrup glaze on. I melted the butter and the cane syrup together in the microwave for about 20 seconds and then painted it on both of these shoulder roast. Real pretty. Cane syrup's a wonderful tasting syrup. It's real dark. It's like liquid brown sugar, man. It's delicious. Anyway, it gave these a beautiful bark. It was about another 2 hours before I pulled them off. We were getting hungry, so around 9 p.m., I'm doing this about 7, and around 9 p.m., I pulled them off, and they were about at 185 degrees. They look like that right there.
Okay, these have been tinted, 20 minutes to half an hour. We're hungry, so it's not quite half an hour. Anyway, that's what they look like. And let's see if we can tear into these. Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. See all that marinade in there? That's that marinade I injected it with, but look at that. That is really good. Oh, that's just excellent. Here, try that, Hannah. All right, look at the smoke ring on there. It's not very deep, but it's pretty what is there. I don't know, it's pretty deep right here. Can you see that in the camera? Is that, look, camera.
Is it good?
See? And it's just coming apart. It's just coming apart. You got that big bone in there. It takes forever to cook, even though it's less pulled pork than the pork butt. But I tell you what, and you shred it with the fork. Oh yeah, look at that right there.
It's good.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Is it shredding? Oh yeah, that whole thing's smoke ring right there. There's my taste, Joseph. That basting sauce is wonderful. The bear's butt rub is wonderful. And that cane syrup glaze, you can taste that on the bark too. Here's a piece with some bark. Get some more bark. Yep. Gonna make up some sandwiches. We're hungry. Big Lew barbecue, pork shoulders.
Hey, thanks for taking time to watch me turn 2 picnic shoulders into some delicious pulled pork. I really do appreciate you watching. I love to cook in my drum smoker. And if you're anything like me, or if you're watching this channel, you may like to cook in drum smokers too. And if you do, I want to tell you about 2 other great YouTube channels that also do a lot of drum smoking. All right? And one of them is a fellow Louisianian. His channel is called Cajun Cravens. Now that's Cajun with a K and Cravens with a K. I'll have the link to his channel down in the description box. By the way, he doesn't have an ugly drum smoker. He's got a beautiful drum smoker because it's got a big old beautiful fleur-de-lis on it. Fleur-de-lis look real pretty on the side of drum smokers and football helmets. The other one I want to tell you about, a guy named Baker. At Baker Barbecue. He loves to cook in his drum too. He also has a lot of other things he cooks in. He also likes to go fishing. He does my kind of fishing. Boatless fishing from the bank. All right. He's a fun guy to watch. Check out Baker Barbecue. Does a lot of drum smoking too. If you like my channel and you like watching me do drum smoking, I'm sure you'll like theirs. The descriptions are down below. Channel links are down below in the description box. Thanks for watching Big Lew Barbecue.